Got my gun up. I got an apex predator right in front of me, one of the top predators in Virginia. Me and him are eye in eye. I'm shaking. I got worry in my mind. Am I going to do this right? He's looking at me, trying to figure out what I am. About to run. Bam! This was 2 years ago. December 24th, day before Christmas. I go out hunting. It's probably about 2 hours before daylight. I get in there in the dark, so I'm undetected. I get in my tree stand and I wait. I wait till it gets light. And by this time of the year, there's no crickets outside, there's no insects, there's not a lot of activity in the woods. Everything's kind of dormant. Excuse me. So it's nice and quiet, crisp. You can hear the frost crickling. It's so quiet. And all of a sudden, the sun starts to come up. The frost starts to melt. You can hear it dripping just a little bit off the leaves. Still quiet. I haven't heard nothing move. Nothing. Not even a squirrel. It's probably couldn't even hear a pin drop. It's just nice and quiet. About that time, turkeys are down here below me. They start to wake up for the morning. They start making a lot of racket. Started cackling, making kind of like distress noises, gobbling, kind of just bunch of just distress, just loud noises, just stirring up the woods. I see them flying everywhere, just flying. I'm like, what is going on down there? So I'm trying to see what's going on, because there's a bunch of just distress and chaos. I'm just looking, I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? That goes on about 30 minutes. They're still around there, just nothing but chaos. And it gets real quiet. By this time, the sun's already up, so it's nice and bright where I can see. And all of a sudden, I see a little ball black and brown, just skipping through the gaps. Just kind of running through the gaps. I'm like, what is that? It's like, I don't know if that's a deer or not. I can just see it come to the gaps of the trees. Comes up, it's working its way up to me. He comes out. It's a bobcat. Probably about 60 to 70 pounds. Probably one of the top predators in Virginia. Probably really up there, rare. Not a lot of people see a bobcat. So I put my gun up. I do my breathing. He comes up, he's working his way up. And I click my safety off. Keep in mind, it's really quiet. Super quiet. And I click my safety off, makes a click. And he stops. He looks around. He's kind of just moving his head so slightly. And all of a sudden, he locks onto me. I don't know if I moved or something, but he locks onto me. And I'm like, oh, crap. My heart starts pumping. My adrenaline's pumping. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. I said, I got to make a move fast. So I start rushing. And in my mind, as a hunter, you don't rush. That's one thing you don't do. You don't rush a shot. You don't rush anything. So in my mind, I'm like, Tyler, you got to stop. You got to quit rushing. Stop rushing. If you rush, you're going to make a mistake. So I calm back down. Even though I still got that adrenaline pumping, I calm down just enough. But keep in mind, he's looking right at me. Eyes wide. He's just still. I don't know how to describe his stillness. Didn't move a muscle. When he stopped, he blended in. I had to pick particular little things out to see him. And I just picked right the side of him. He's sitting there. I'm breathing, trying to calm myself down. And all of a sudden, he starts to move. I'm like, oh crap, here we go. He's running, he's getting away. And then he takes a couple steps, he stops, bam! I shoot. And he folds, he rolls, and he stops. He lays on the ground. I think he's done. Look at that. Apex predator of the woods, probably the top predator ever. Done. I'm like, wow. So I put my gun back on safety. I wait a little bit. I can see him. He's just laying there. And I get down. I go over there to him. And all of a sudden, his eyes get wide open, yellow eyes. And I'm sure some of you have seen cat eyes. They got the particular colors. But a bobcat's eyes, this bobcat had yellow eyes. I mean, freakish looking. I mean, it's undescribable. It's kind of like a green and yellow. His eyes open worldwide, and he takes off running. He takes off through the bushes, and then I don't know what he did. I guess he hit something. I heard something crash, and he starts rolling. So then I just see him roll. So now I stop and wait. I'm like, I'm not going to push this thing. So I stop and wait. I'm just looking. I'm just looking at him, make sure he's going to die. Just seeing if he's going to get up again. And sure enough, I wait like 10 minutes, and he's gone. So I walk up to him, and I grab him. I picked him up, and his feet come. I'm 6'1", so his feet come from my eye level all the way down to the ground. It's probably about a 70-pound cat. I mean, and if some of you don't know how big a bobcat is, I mean, it's big. It's bigger than some dogs. Apex predator of the woods of Virginia. I tell you, that day probably made me a better hunter than any hunts ever. Just watching a particular animal do animal things. And just the way it played out is just amazing. And I think it's made me a better hunter today. So that's it.